My beloved child, there are days when your heart grows weary from trying to find answers for everything happening around you. You look ahead and cannot clearly see the road before you. You look within yourself and see only empty spaces that have not yet been filled. But I want you to understand this. You were never created to carry the entire weight of life upon your small shoulders. From the very beginning, I had already placed lights within my word to guide your journey. Just as it is written, your word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. When you stop chasing the unstable waves of emotion, stop allowing fear to guide every decision, and begin letting my truth anchor your soul, you will discover that a quiet transformation is taking place within you. Not loud, not violent, but deep and steady, like underground streams moving through dry land to prepare it for a new season of life and greenery. Do not think that I am only with you in moments when you feel strong. It is precisely in the moments when you sit alone in silence, when no one understands the burden hidden in your heart, that I draw nearer to you than ever before. I do not speak through thunder shaking the heavens, but through a peace that gently slips into your troubled mind. Do you remember the story of the prophet Elijah, after days of exhaustion and despair in the wilderness? He wished to disappear from the world because he believed he had failed. Yet I did not come to him through the mighty wind, nor through the earthquake or the fire. I came in a gentle whisper, soft as a quiet breath, and in that stillness, his soul was restored. My beloved child, many times you search for me in things that seem grand and extraordinary, while I am standing very close to you, waiting for you to quiet your heart so you can recognize my tender presence. Some of the most sacred things can only be heard when the soul is no longer restless. Therefore, do not allow yourself to be swept away by the ever-changing currents of this world. Today, people may lift you up, and tomorrow they may wound you. Today, your emotions may overflow with hope, and tomorrow they may be covered with doubt. But my truth does not change. The grass withers, the flower fades, but the word of our God stands forever. When you build your life upon that rock, you will no longer live like a leaf blown helplessly by the wind. You will become steadfast even when storms arrive. I never promised that you would face no trials, but I promised that you will never walk through them alone. My hand still rests upon your shoulder, even in the moments when you feel forgotten. My beloved child, spiritual growth does not happen in a single day. It is like a seed buried beneath dark soil before it rises into a great tree. There are seasons when you feel buried beneath disappointment, waiting, and unanswered questions. But I have never abandoned you in that darkness. It is there that I am teaching you to grow deeper roots in faith. The world admires only what is bright and visible, but I care about the unseen work quietly forming within you. I am teaching you patience, trust, and how to keep walking, even when you cannot yet see the entire path ahead. Just as Abraham left his homeland simply because he trusted my promise, even though nothing before him was clear. True faith is not seeing everything before taking a step. True faith is daring to step forward because you know the one leading you is faithful. Perhaps you have believed that I was silent before your prayers. But no, my beloved child, my silence is not distance. Many times it is the soil covering the seed before the day it begins to grow. If I answered everything immediately, you would never learn how to trust. If I removed every hardship too quickly, you would never discover how much strength I have already placed within you. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed. I am teaching you to look beyond what human eyes can see. There are doors I have not yet opened because I am still preparing your heart to become wide enough to enter what is new. And one day, you will look back and realize that every season of waiting carried a redemptive purpose for your soul. I also want you to learn how to rest in me, not to rest because every problem has disappeared, but to rest because you know that I am still in control. You do not need to stay awake through the night carrying all the worries of tomorrow upon yourself. The birds of the air neither sow nor reap, yet they are still fed. The flowers of the field do not weave garments for themselves, yet they are clothed in beauty, greater than all the glory of Solomon. How much more, then, are you cherished as my deeply beloved child? When you place into my hands the things that are beyond your strength, your soul will begin to grow lighter. True peace does not come from a perfect life. It comes from knowing that you are held in the hands of the one who never makes mistakes. Can you feel it? There is a river quietly flowing through the deepest places of your soul. The words I plant within you today are not meant to be heard and forgotten like a passing wind. They are reaching the places that have long been dry from fear and exhaustion. Little by little, I am softening your heart. A thought is being renewed. A wound is beginning to heal. A small hope is being lit again. This is how I work within your life, gently, yet enduringly, silently, yet full of power. So, my beloved child, stop being terrified of the unknown. Do not force yourself to understand everything all at once. Draw nearer to me each day, meditating on my word like a thirsty traveler searching for water in the desert. For when you allow my truth to remain within your heart, you will no longer walk like one who is lost. You will begin to see light even in your foggiest days. And one day, you will realize what I have always wanted to tell you from the beginning, that your beautiful destiny is not built by your own strength, but by my love, my grace, and my eternal guidance. My beloved child, I see how often your heart is shaken by the changes of this life. There are mornings when you awaken full of hope, yet a single small event is enough to make your soul feel unbearably heavy. The world around you moves constantly like a restless sea. Today, people may love one another, and tomorrow they may grow cold. Today, you may feel strong, but the next day, sorrow can cover your mind like a thick mist. And in the midst of all these fragile things, I want you to remember that only my word never changes. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall never pass away. My word is not worn down by time, nor distorted by circumstance. It stands firm like a rock in rushing waters, like a lighthouse still shining through a storm-filled night, guiding wandering ships safely home. There are times when you feel as though you are losing your direction because the emotions within you are so chaotic. You try to find answers by following whatever your heart feels in each moment. Yet human emotions are like wind passing through grasslands, constantly changing and never truly steady. I do not blame you for this, because I myself created you with a heart capable of deep feeling. I placed tenderness within you so that you could sympathize with those who suffer, weep over the pain of others, and rejoice when goodness begins to bloom. But, my beloved child, if you allow temporary emotions to become the guide of your life, you will quickly grow weary. You will be carried away by every wave of fear, disappointment, and doubt. That is why I am teaching you to anchor your soul in eternal truth rather than in things that change from day to day. Remember Peter on the stormy sea. When he stepped out of the boat and kept his eyes on me, he walked upon the water, something no one had ever done before. But the moment he looked at the raging waves and heard the roaring wind, fear filled his heart, and he began to sink. Do you see? The very moment he turned his eyes away from me and focused on the circumstances around him was the moment anxiety began to swallow him. Yet I immediately reached out my hand and lifted him up. I am doing the same for you. Whenever your heart panics because of what is happening around you, I do not stand far away judging your weakness. I reach out my hand and gently pull you out of the deep waters of worry. Then I remind you that true strength does not come from never feeling afraid, but from knowing how to look back at me in the middle of the storm. My beloved child, There have been many times when you believed you would never survive a certain season of your life. There were nights when you lay down with a heart as heavy as stone, convinced that tomorrow you would no longer have the strength to keep going. Yet you still rose again, not because you were stronger than you imagined, but because I was quietly sustaining you through my presence. Perhaps in those moments, you could not clearly hear my voice. But deep within your soul, there was still a gentle whisper saying, "Do not be afraid, for I am with you." It was that whisper that held you together when everything else seemed to be falling apart. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. You have never fought alone, even in the days when you felt the most abandoned. I want you to understand that faith is not living without emotions. Faith is when your emotions are in chaos, yet you still choose to believe my word. It is when tears are still falling, yet you continue believing that the dawn will come. It is when you cannot yet see the path opening before you, yet you keep walking because you know I am leading you. The wise man does not build his house upon sand, where a single heavy storm can cause everything to collapse, but upon solid rock. And that rock is my truth. If your heart is founded upon it, then the storms of life may shake everything around you, but they will never destroy your soul. My beloved child, do not be overly afraid of your own weakness. Even David, the one called a man after God's own heart, he had days when his soul was broken. He wept, he trembled, and he cried out in despair. Yet in the middle of all his lamenting, he always returned to one truth. Why art thou cast down, O my soul, and why art thou disquieted within me? Hope thou in God. That is what I want to teach you today. Not to deny your emotions, but to learn how to place them beneath the light of truth. For your emotions may tell you that you have been abandoned, but my word says that you are loved with an everlasting love. Your emotions may convince you that you are a failure, yet I call you my precious child, being shaped day by day. So, my beloved child, while the world around you continues to change, let your heart rest in the one who never changes. Do not chase every wave of emotion like a leaf carried by the wind. Hold tightly to my word, like a traveler in the night, holding a lamp in his hands. Then you will discover something beautiful. Peace does not come because life no longer has storms, but because, in the middle of those storms, you know that the one holding your hand will never let go. And when you truly believe that, your heart will stop panicking. Your eyes will begin to see light again, and your soul will find rest in my unchanging love. My beloved child, there have been stretches of your journey where you walked in confusion without even realizing it. You tried to find direction through your own understanding, tried to use your emotions to determine what was right or wrong, and then grew weary because your heart shifted like water stirred by the wind. But I never created you to live like someone lost in a desert without direction. I placed my living word before you, like a lamp that never goes out. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. When you allow my word to guide you, you will no longer have to walk in fear. Even when your eyes cannot yet see the full road ahead, your soul can still rest, because the one holding your hand never loses his way. I know there are days when your emotions feel like rushing waters pulling you away. A single careless word from someone can make your heart unbearably heavy. One small failure can cause you to question your own worth. But my beloved child, emotions were never meant to be the foundation upon which you build your life. They are like clouds in the sky, constantly changing shape from hour to hour. If you allow your soul to be guided entirely by such temporary things, you will always live in unrest. That is why I am teaching you a deeper way, to hold firmly to truth, even while your heart trembles. When anxiety tries to suffocate your spirit, let my word flow through your soul like the cool breeze of an early morning. When you feel as though you are about to collapse, remember that my arms are still holding you up. I have called thee by thy name, thou art mine. There is never a moment when I forget you, even though you yourself may often forget my presence. Remember Joseph, during the years when he was sold into slavery and imprisoned in darkness. There were likely many nights when he could not feel any sign that I was with him. No angel appeared, no immediate miracle came, no prison door opened at once. Yet, in that dark place, Joseph remained faithful and continued walking in righteousness. In that hidden season, I was preparing him for something far greater than he could understand. And when the appointed time came, I lifted him up so that he could save an entire nation from famine. Do you see? There are seasons in life when my presence is like a seed buried deep beneath the soil. You cannot yet see anything, but life is quietly forming underneath. What I am building within you is not something temporary like grass in the field, but an eternal work crafted by grace. My beloved child, I rejoice not only when you feel passionate or deeply emotional. I rejoice when I see you still choosing what is right even in the days when your soul feels dry and empty. There are moments when you pray and feel nothing at all. There are times when you open my word to read it, yet your heart seems hollow within you. But it is precisely in days like these that your faith is growing deeper roots. True faith does not exist only in moments overflowing with inspiration. It matures through quiet faithfulness. Just as a great tree does not stand firm because of a few short rains, but because its roots sink deeply into the earth day after day, so it is with your soul. Every time you continue trusting even when you see no results, every time you keep walking even when you hear no answer, you are becoming stronger within. Do not think that I am distant simply because you cannot clearly hear my voice. There are seasons when I teach you to walk by faith instead of by feelings. A small child needs his father to hold his hand at every step, but one who has matured learns to keep walking even when he cannot constantly see his father standing beside him. I am leading you into that spiritual maturity, not to abandon you, but to help you discover that my word is strong enough to keep you standing through every trial. The just shall live by faith, not by emotions, not by what the eyes can see, but by trust placed in me, my beloved child. This world will always try to pull your attention toward temporary things. People chase fleeting happiness only to fall back into emptiness again. They seek security from circumstances rather than from truth. But I am calling you to live differently. I want you to become someone with a steadfast soul in the middle of a generation that is easily shaken. When others panic, you will still carry peace. When others lose their direction, you will still know where you belong. That does not come from your own strength, but from my word taking deep root within your soul like a river of living water that never ceases to flow. Perhaps today you cannot fully see the work I am doing in your life. Perhaps there are still questions within you that remain unanswered. But do not lose heart too quickly. A wise builder always spends the most time laying the foundation, because something built to endure forever cannot be formed in haste. I am doing the same with you. I do not merely want you to experience a few emotional moments that disappear like the morning mist. I am forming within you a steadfast spirit, a heart capable of loving deeply, and a faith that cannot be swept away by the winds of life. Those things are far more precious than passing emotions. Therefore, my beloved child, continue keeping my word within your heart like a treasure, more valuable than gold or silver. When darkness falls, my word will become your light. When you are weak, my word will become your strength. When you feel alone, my word will remind you that I have never left you. And little by little, day after day, you will realize that what I am building within you is not a fragile life dependent on unstable emotions, but a soul standing firmly upon the eternal rock, a place where no storm can destroy you, and no darkness can extinguish the light I have placed within you. My beloved child, true wisdom does not begin with knowing many things, nor does it come from the loud voices of this world constantly fighting to direct your path. Wisdom begins when you know how to stop before me. Humble your heart and allow my word to touch the deepest places of your soul. There are voices outside that grow louder and louder until your heart becomes confused. There are endless opinions that leave you even more lost than before. But my word is different. My word does not push you into fear, bind you in pressure, or force you to live like someone enslaved. My word comes to open doors, to untangle what has bound you, and to lead you out of the dark rooms of confusion where you have remained for too long. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and when you turn your heart back toward me, light will begin entering the places that were once filled only with weariness and doubt. I know there have been times when you listened to too many voices and forgot my own. The voice of comparison made you believe you were not enough. The voice of the past convinced you that you could never change. The voice of anxiety caused you to see the future as a closed door. But my beloved child, I am no longer calling you to walk along those paths. I am calling you back to the simplicity of a child holding his father's hand. That child does not need to understand every turn ahead. He only needs to know that the hand guiding him is a loving one. In the same way, you do not need to explain every detail of what is happening in your life. You only need to keep walking in the light I give you today. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path. That lamp may not illuminate the entire road at once, but it will always give enough light for your next step. And as my word gradually becomes the foundation of your life, you will begin to experience a kind of peace very different from the calmness this world seeks. The world calls it peace when there are no more troubles, no more trials, nothing left to worry about. But the peace I give goes far deeper than that. It can exist even in days when there are still no answers. It can remain within you even when the circumstances around you have not yet changed. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you. Not as the world giveth, give I unto you. This is a peace that does not need the applause of people in order to survive, nor does it require everything to be perfect before it can bloom. It comes from knowing that I am within you, beside you, and going before you. Perhaps there are still areas of your mind covered in fog. Perhaps there are still unanswered questions, wounds not yet fully healed, and days when your heart continues to tremble. But I do not require you to become perfect before you draw near to me. I only invite you to remain in my presence long enough for the light to begin doing its work. Dawn does not drive away darkness with noise, it simply rises quietly, and the darkness retreats on its own. My grace works in the same way. As you patiently remain in my word, every heavy layer will slowly be removed. Every hidden corner will be illuminated, and every breath within you will learn the rhythm of peace once again. So, my beloved child, do not treat my word as a dry obligation, but receive it as water for a thirsty soul. Do not listen to me out of fear of punishment, but because you know that you are loved. I did not come to take away your freedom. I came to restore to you true freedom. Freedom from fear, from chaos, from the invisible chains hidden within your heart. Keep moving forward, even if your steps are slow, as long as you walk with me. And, in time, you will taste what I have prepared for you, a peace that is gentle yet powerful, quiet yet enduring, light as a breath, yet deep as the ocean. This is the gift I place within the hearts of those who trust in me. And my beloved child, that gift is for you as well. My beloved child, I have seen the days when your soul became so weary that even continuing to walk felt like dragging a heart that had already run out of strength. There were moments when you sat among many people and still felt alone. There were nights when you stared into the silent emptiness and wondered whether you had been forgotten. But my beloved child, the silence you hear has never been a sign that I am far away from you. Some of the deepest things cannot be perceived through physical eyes, but only through the innermost place of the soul. And it is there that I am still present, gentle as a breath, quiet as moonlight resting upon a lake in the middle of the night. You once believed that you had to travel very far in order to find me. You thought there would come a day when everything was finally stable, when your heart was peaceful enough, when life was no longer chaotic, and only then would you truly touch my presence. But no, my beloved child, I have never stood at the end of the road waiting for you to overcome everything alone before opening my arms to you. I am here on the very road you are walking now. I am in the sighs you try to hide. I am in the tears you quickly wipe away before anyone notices. I am even in the moments when you think you are at your weakest. I will never leave thee, nor forsake thee. That promise was not spoken only for beautiful days, but also for the darkest valleys your soul will ever walk through. Remember the story of the disciples during the stormy night at sea. The waves were so fierce that they thought the boat would sink at any moment. Fear covered their hearts the way darkness covered the waters. And then they saw me there, right in the middle of the storm. I did not immediately calm the sea from the very beginning. First, I came near to them. Do you understand? What changes the human heart is not always the disappearance of circumstances, but the realization that I am present in the middle of them. When Peter began to sink because of fear, I reached out and took hold of his hand. I am holding you in the same way. You may not see that hand with your eyes, but every time you thought you would collapse and yet somehow remain standing, that was me sustaining you. My beloved child, I know you have searched for peace in many different places. You believed that if you could obtain what you longed for, your heart would finally feel complete. You thought that if someone loved you perfectly, your loneliness would disappear. You believed that if you achieved a certain result, your soul would no longer feel restless. Yet even after reaching those things, there remained an emptiness within you that was never fully filled. I do not condemn you for that. Human beings often search for water in wells that cannot hold it for long. But I am calling you back to the true source of living water. Whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst. The peace I give is not like the fragile peace of this world which comes and goes according to circumstances. My peace remains, even while strong winds still rage outside. There are days when you do not need to do anything great before me. I do not demand that you always be strong, always full of energy, or always have beautiful words in prayer. Sometimes all I desire is for you to sit quietly with me. You do not need to hide your weariness. You do not need to pretend that everything is fine while your heart is breaking inside. Just remain there, like a child sitting beside his father after a long and exhausting day. And then you will begin to feel something that words can hardly describe, my presence gently soothing the deepest wounded places within your soul. Just as the dawn never needs to speak in order to make the darkness retreat, my love quietly heals your spirit in the same way. My beloved child, do not think that true peace means a life without tears. Even David, whom I dearly loved, passed through nights filled with fear and despair. Yet in the midst of it all, he learned to say, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me." My presence is the true refuge for your soul. Not money, not human approval, not the temporary things of this world. Everything else can fade like morning mist beneath the sunlight. But my love for you never changes. And there will come a moment when you realize something both gentle and powerful. You no longer need to run endlessly searching for peace, for what you have been seeking has been walking beside you all along. I am in every breath you take during your weary days. I am in the quiet moments when you look up at the sky and your heart unexpectedly grows calm. I am in the moments when you believe you have no strength left. Yet somehow you continue walking a little farther. That is because I have never let go of your hand. So, my beloved child, whenever your heart begins to feel unsteady again in this ever-changing life, stop searching for peace in things that easily fade away. Return to me. No complicated words are needed. No need to prove anything at all. Simply remain in my presence long enough for your heart to remember that it is deeply loved. And when you truly realize that I have always been here, right in the middle of your storm, your soul will slowly find peace again, not because the waves have disappeared, but because you know you no longer have to face them alone. My beloved child, I know there have been nights when you quietly asked within yourself, if I am truly loved, why is this path still so difficult? You look at the burdens that have not yet been lifted, the wounds that have not completely healed, and the storms that continue one after another until your soul grows weary. At times you wish that I would immediately open another door and quickly carry you out of that painful place, like a father lifting his child away from a rocky road. But my beloved child, there are journeys that, if I simply removed you from them, you would never discover that I am able to keep you standing firmly in the middle of them. There are lessons that can only be written while your feet continue walking, and my hand quietly sustains your soul day by day. Remember the 3 friends of Daniel inside the blazing furnace. They prayed and trusted in me, yet I did not prevent the furnace from appearing, nor did I extinguish the flames before they were thrown into it. But when the king looked inside, he was astonished, because there were no longer only 3 men, there was a 4th figure walking with them in the fire. Do you understand? The greatest miracle is not always escaping the trial, but realizing that I am within the trial together with you. The fire surrounded them, yet it could not destroy their souls because my presence was greater than any flame of this world. I am with you in the same way. Perhaps your circumstances have not yet changed immediately, but they will not destroy you, for I am walking beside you through every path where you thought you were alone. My beloved child, the peace I give is not like the promises of this world. The world says peace comes when every problem disappears, when everything happens according to your desires, when there are no more tears or losses. But that kind of peace is fragile like the morning dew, vanishing as soon as the sun changes its course. My peace is deeper than that. It can remain even while storms still rage outside. It is like the stillness deep beneath the surface of a lake, even while great waves move above it. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth, give I unto you. This is the gift I place within the hearts of those who choose to trust me during the most confusing and difficult days of their lives. I know there have been many times when you waited for a great miracle in order to know that I was working. But sometimes miracles do not arrive through flashes of lightning or the sound of thunder. Sometimes the miracle is simply that you still have enough strength to rise in the morning. Sometimes the miracle is the unexpected calmness that settles into your mind after many days of turmoil. Sometimes the miracle is that you have not collapsed, even after enduring so much. That is because I am quietly placing my hand upon your shoulder, not loudly, not for display, but more real than anything your eyes can see. My love often comes as gently as a breath, yet it is powerful enough to keep a soul from sinking into despair. My beloved child, do not think that you must become perfect before entering my presence. Some people believe they must be strong enough, holy enough, worthy enough before they can come near to me. But I have never loved you because of your perfection. I loved you even in your weakest days. The prodigal son in the parable returned wearing torn clothes and carrying a heart full of shame. Yet the father did not wait for him to fix himself before embracing him. He ran to him first. I am the same way. The moment you turn your heart back toward me, I am already there. not with condemnation, but with the open arms of everlasting love. Perhaps today you still cannot clearly feel that peace. Perhaps your heart is still filled with too much noise, too many unanswered questions. But true peace does not always begin with overwhelming emotion. Many times it arrives slowly, like the light of dawn slipping through a narrow window. At first, you hardly notice it, but little by little, the darkness begins to retreat. I am doing that work within you, day by day. I am healing the places of your soul that have lived in fear for far too long. I am teaching you how to rest in me, not because your life no longer has storms, but because you know that the one who holds you has never failed. And the peace of God, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds. Do you see? That peace goes beyond human understanding. It does not require every situation to be explained in order to exist. It remains even when you do not yet understand why you must walk through this season, and that is what makes it holy. For it is not built upon circumstances, but upon my unchanging presence. So, my beloved child, when your heart grows weary again from the long journey, do not only ask me to remove the difficult road. Let me walk beside you upon it. Let my hand become the resting place for your soul. Then you will discover that the most precious thing is not living a life without storms, but having me with you in every storm. And when you truly understand that, your heart will stop panicking, because you will know that you are being sheltered within a love that nothing can shake. My beloved child, I see the days when you move through life with shoulders weighed down by countless unfinished things. There are mornings when you wake up already thinking about the responsibilities waiting for you, the expectations others have placed upon you, and the shortcomings that leave your heart burdened with guilt. You try to stay strong. You try to keep everything together. But deep inside, your soul is growing weary, like someone carrying a jar full of water across an endless road. I know you have become so accustomed to carrying everything on your own that you sometimes forget you were never created to live that way. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Those words are not only for people inside temples or for those who believe they are righteous enough. Those words are for you in the quiet room during late nights, in the moments when your soul is almost exhausted, yet you still try to smile before the world. My beloved child, I did not come to place more burdens upon your life. I do not stand before you with a list of accusations about all the things you have not done well enough. I come near to you like a father kneeling beside his weary child, gently saying, you do not have to carry everything alone. There are things you keep trying to solve through your own thoughts and efforts. Yet the harder you try, the more tangled your heart becomes. That is because what your soul longs for most is not always a clear answer, but a place where it can finally rest. And that place is found in my presence. Remember Mary sitting quietly at my feet, listening, while Martha busied herself with too many tasks. Martha was not wrong for wanting to serve, but her heart became so overwhelmed with pressure and anxiety that she lost her peace. Mary chose instead to remain in my presence, and I said that she had chosen the better portion. Do you see? Sometimes what your soul needs most is not to do more things, but to stop long enough to remember that I am here. The world will always pull you into the endless cycle of trying harder, moving faster, becoming more perfect. But I am calling you into a different rhythm, the rhythm of resting in my love. My beloved child, when you truly spend time with me, not merely to ask for things or seek an instant miracle, but simply to remain with me, your heart will begin to change. At first, you may still hear the loud noises of anxiety, pressure, and unanswered questions. But little by little, those voices will begin to fade like waves retreating from the shore. And then you will discover something very gentle. My presence has the power to lighten even the things that have not yet been resolved. not because every problem disappears immediately, but because your heart is no longer fighting alone. Perhaps in the past you believed that faith meant always being strong, always feeling passionate and certain. But mature faith goes much deeper than that. It is choosing to remain with me even in days when your soul feels dry and empty. It is continuing to believe that I am listening, even when you do not immediately hear an answer. It is letting go of your need to control everything and learning instead to allow me to lead you. Be still and know that I am God. There are things that can only be understood when your heart becomes quiet enough to listen. My beloved child, I am doing something new within you, even if you cannot yet clearly see it. Just as a seed lies hidden beneath the soil before it begins to sprout, the renewal within your soul often begins in silence. Some changes do not come through loud moments, but through the gentle calming of the mind. A fear no longer controls you the way it once did. A wound begins to ache less when it is touched. A small hope is rekindled in the middle of days that once seemed gray and lifeless. That is me leading you deeper into my peace. Do not fear that silence. My beloved child, the world often makes you believe that if you are not constantly running, constantly doing something, you will fall behind. But many times, it is in stillness that I heal your soul most deeply. Elijah did not encounter me in the windstorm or the earthquake, but in the still, gentle whisper. I am still speaking to you in that same way. I do not force you. I do not rush you. I lead you with a love that is tender yet unwavering, like the dawn slowly breaking through the mist in a way no one can stop. And there will come a time when you realize that you have changed, not through one explosive moment, but through a steady peace that has quietly grown within you day after day. The things that once caused you to panic no longer control you as they once did. The voices of fear no longer sound as loud as before, for your heart is learning how to anchor itself in me instead of in circumstances. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee. That is the gift I am giving you, not a life without difficulties, but a soul peaceful enough to walk through difficulties without losing itself. So, my beloved child, do not close your heart to the work I am creating within you. Do not return to the old patterns of rushing simply because they feel familiar. Let me continue leading you forward. One step at a time is enough. There is no need to hurry, no need to become perfect overnight. You only need to keep opening your heart before me. And in that deep stillness, as all the noise slowly fades away, you will begin hearing more clearly the gentle call I have spoken over your life since the very beginning, the call that leads you back to the place where your soul truly belongs. My beloved child, I know there are things within your heart that have quietly been awakening for a very long time. There are beautiful desires you buried beneath layers of fear and hesitation. There are callings you have heard many times in moments of deep silence, yet you allow them to pass because you thought, it is not the right time yet. I have seen the moments when you stood at the crossroads of your life, filled with uncertainty, like someone standing before a half-open door, yet too afraid to step through it. But my beloved child, some doors will not remain open forever. Some seasons, if no seed is planted, there will be no harvest in the season to come. And today I am gently calling you. Do not allow fear to delay the sacred work I desire to begin within you. You often think you must become completely ready before you can move forward. You want to wait until your heart is strong enough, until every circumstance becomes favorable, until every doubt disappears. But my beloved child, if Abraham had waited until he fully understood the journey before leaving his homeland, he would never have become the father of many nations. If Moses had waited until he felt fully capable of speaking before the people, he would never have led my people through the Red Sea. I have never chosen perfect people. I choose those who are willing to trust and step forward. Growth does not come before the first step, it is formed within the journey itself. as you dare to walk with me. Remember Peter when I called him to step out of the boat in the middle of the stormy sea. The water was still water. The wind was still roaring. Nothing became safer before he stepped out. Yet the miracle began the moment he dared to place his foot upon what seemed impossible. Do you understand? There are things I can only reveal when you stop remaining still. For faith does not grow inside comfort zones. It grows when you choose to move forward, even while your heart is trembling. The just shall live by faith, not by absolute certainty, but by trust in the one who is leading the way. My beloved child, I know that delay often disguises itself very subtly. It does not always appear as open resistance. Many times it is only a quiet whisper. Tomorrow will be fine. Wait a little longer. There is no need to hurry. And little by little, as the days pass, your soul becomes accustomed to standing still. The greatest danger is not always an immediate fall, but allowing your heart to sleep for too long before my calling. Some people do not lose their destiny because of one great mistake, but because they continually postpone the right thing they were meant to do. They wait for an ideal day, never realizing that today itself is the gift I have already placed into their hands. Today, if ye will hear his voice, harden not your hearts. I do not say this to frighten you, but to awaken you from the hesitation that is quietly draining the life from your soul. You once promised me that you would change, that you would return closer to me, that you would let go of the things pulling your heart away. But tomorrow became another tomorrow, and your heart grew weary from living between desire and action. My beloved child, true peace is not found in endless delay, but in obedience at the right moment. I do not push you with harshness. I lead you with love. But true love always calls for a response. When I place something within your heart, a change that needs to begin, a door that needs to be entered, something that must be released, words that must finally be spoken, it is not to burden you. It is because I can already see the life waiting for you on the other side of that decision. You only see the uncertainty of the first step, but I see the new person you will become after you choose to walk forward. My beloved child, learn to distinguish between the rest that comes from me and the stagnation that causes your soul to fall asleep. I give you rest so your strength may be restored, not so you remain motionless because of fear. A river remains fresh because it continues to flow. If it stops for too long, the water becomes stagnant. Your soul is the same way. When you stop responding to my calling, the life within you slowly loses its freshness. But when you continue walking with me, even through small steps, you will begin to feel peace and life flowing strongly within your heart once again. Remember the servant who was given 1 talent in the parable. Because of fear, he buried what he had received in the ground and did nothing with it. What caused him to lose everything was not that he committed many wrongs, but that he never dared to step forward. I do not want you to live like someone burying the seeds I have placed within you simply because you fear failure. You were created to bear fruit, to live fully, to walk forward, and to answer my calling with all your heart. So today, my beloved child, do not remain standing too long at the crossroads. Do not wait until you feel completely ready before taking a step, because many times it is the step itself that creates the readiness within you. Begin with the smallest thing if necessary, a sincere prayer, a decision to let go of something old, a step back toward me, one action that your heart knows is right, and then you will discover that on the other side of obedience there is not burden, but freedom. On the other side of decision there is not darkness, but the light I have already prepared for you long ago. My beloved child, do not think that important days are only the days marked by great signs or moments that capture the attention of the world. There are days that appear completely ordinary in human eyes, yet they become turning points for an entire soul. And today may be one of those days for you. Not because the sky suddenly changes color or because everything around you becomes perfect, but because today you have been given an opportunity to choose. Every soul is shaped by the quiet choices that no one else sees. A small yes whispered to me in silence carries more value than many promises that are never fulfilled. My beloved child, I am not asking you to change everything overnight. I do not demand that you take enormous steps beyond your strength. I am only inviting you to begin. Perhaps it is simply a sincere prayer after many days of distance. Perhaps it is the decision to release something you know has been pulling your soul away from the light. Perhaps it is only a few quiet moments with me, instead of continuing to let your heart be consumed by the noise of the world. Yet those small things are often the very doors that allow me to work powerfully within your life. He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. Many times you wait for a great transformation, while I am simply waiting for you to answer with one humble step. Remember the woman who suffered from bleeding for 12 years. She possessed no great strength, no high position, and she did not dare stand before the crowd seeking attention. Yet within her heart was one quiet decision. If she could only touch my garment, she believed she would be healed. And that one small step through the crowd opened the way for the miracle to happen. Do you understand? What changes a life is often not an action that astonishes the world, but the moment when a heart chooses to trust and move forward, even while still trembling with fear. I know you are afraid that you may fail again. You remember the times you promised yourself that you would change, only to return to old ways. You fear beginning again only to stop halfway through the journey. But my beloved child, I do not look at you with the eyes of condemnation the way you often look at yourself. I do not count your failures to decide whether I still love you. What I see is that the light is still burning within your heart, even if it is only a tiny flame in the middle of a long night. And I say to you, a small flame in my hands is still enough to light the entire road ahead. A bruised reed shall he not break, and the smoking flax shall he not quench. You have not been abandoned. My beloved child, I am still patiently waiting for you to rise one more time. Do not let the past bind you to the belief that you cannot change. Peter once denied me 3 times during the darkest night of his soul. He believed he was no longer worthy. Yet after everything, I still called him back and entrusted him with a great purpose. What defines a person is not the moment they fall, but whether they still choose to respond to my calling afterward. I am not searching for perfection within you. I am looking for a heart willing to open itself, even while still carrying fear and weakness. My beloved child, time is a fragile gift. There are seasons that, if you do not walk through the doors I open, will pass like a fleeting wind. A field left untouched will never produce fruit on its own. A seed that is never planted will remain forever, resting in the palm of a hand. That is why today I am tenderly calling you not to continue delaying what your heart already knows is right. Not through pressure or fear, but through the love of a Father who knows you were created for far more than the hesitation that now holds you back. The moment you whisper to me, yes, even in the smallest way, heaven has already begun moving for your journey. You do not need to understand every step ahead. Abraham did not know where he was going when I called him to leave his homeland. Yet every step he took in faith opened the door to promises greater than he could ever have imagined. It is the same for you. I do not require you to see the entire road before you. I only ask you to trust enough to take the first step today. And then you will realize that true courage is not the absence of fear. True courage is continuing to walk even while your heart trembles, because you know that I am walking beside you. When a child holds his father's hand in the middle of a crowd, he does not need to understand every direction they are taking. He is at peace simply because he knows he is no longer alone. I want you to live with that same simple trust. Do not look at yesterday's delays, and believe they define who you truly are. What I remember is not the moments when you stood still, but the moment today when you choose to rise again and turn back toward the light. So, my beloved child, do not allow today to pass like every other day before it. Let it become the day you answer the gentle calling within your soul. No grand promises are required. No perfect plans are needed. Simply come a little closer to me. Simply whisper within the deepest part of your soul, "Father, I am willing." And when you open your heart in that way, I will do the rest. I will make a way where you believe there was none. I will renew your strength when you grow weary. I will turn your trembling footsteps into a journey leading toward life and everlasting peace. My beloved child, I know there are memories you have tried to bury deep within yourself, like someone locking away a box and hiding it in a dark corner where no one can touch it. There are things that, whenever you remember them, make your heart feel heavy as though carrying an invisible stone. You still smile at people, still walk through ordinary life, yet inside you carry wounds that have never truly healed. I see it all, my beloved child. I see the tears you quickly wipe away in silence. I see the nights when you lie awake burdened by regret, sorrow, and self-condemnation over what has already passed. And I want you to know that there is no part of your story that causes me to turn my face away from you. You often believe that if others truly knew everything hidden within your heart, they would become disappointed and walk away from you. So you learned how to hide. You hide pain behind strength, wounds behind silence, mistakes behind a calm outward appearance. But with me, you do not need to live that way. I knew you before your first cry entered this world. I know every moment of weakness. I know even the wrong decisions you yourself wish you could forget. Yet my love for you has never changed. I have loved thee with an everlasting love. Do you understand? I do not love you because you are perfect. I love you even in the moments when you believe there is nothing left within you worthy of love. Remember the woman caught in sin and dragged before the crowd filled with condemning eyes. Everyone waited for me to condemn her as they already had, but I saw beyond her mistakes. I saw a weary soul and a heart crushed beneath shame. And I said to her, "Neither do I condemn thee. Go, and sin no more." My beloved child, that is how I look at you today as well. I do not deny what has happened, but neither do I allow your past to become a prison sentence locking your life forever. In my hands, even the places once filled with sin can become the beginning of restoration. My beloved child, letting go does not mean pretending the past never happened. Letting go means no longer allowing it to rule over your soul. Some people spend their entire lives chained to what has already passed, not because I have refused to forgive them, but because they cannot forgive themselves. They continue seeing themselves through the lens of old failures, continuing to call themselves by the names of past mistakes. But I am calling you to see yourself through the eyes of grace. If any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. What is behind you no longer has the authority to define you. I am the one who defines you now. Perhaps today you still hear the voice of accusation echoing through your mind. It reminds you of the times you stumbled, of the things you wish you had never done, of the opportunities you once lost. But listen to my voice instead of the voice of the past. I do not call you by shame. I call you my beloved child. I do not keep records of your failures only to bring them back whenever you are weak. When you sincerely place all those things into my hands, I do not merely forgive you, I heal you. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Do you see? I do not simply cover the stain, I renew your soul from within. Remember Peter after the night he denied me 3 times. He wept bitterly because he believed he was no longer worthy. Yet after that failure, I did not turn away from him. I sought him out. I restored him. I placed back into his hands the calling he thought he had lost forever. That is what my grace does. It does not merely forgive people. It lifts them up and gives them a new beginning. And that is exactly what I desire to do within you. My beloved child, there are things you cannot put into words before anyone else. There are pains too deep, memories too private, wounds too difficult to name, but you do not need to explain them to me. Simply come near and say, "Father, I give this to you." That alone is enough. I understand even the sighs your lips cannot express. I hear the silent cries of your soul. There is nothing within you that shocks me or causes me to turn away in disgust. My love is far greater than all your failures. And as you begin surrendering your past into my hands, something beautiful will slowly happen. Not every wound will disappear in a single moment, but your heart will begin to feel lighter. The shame that once weighed heavily upon you will gradually lose its power. You will stop seeing yourself as someone broken beyond repair and begin seeing yourself as a soul being reshaped by my loving hands. Like the first rain falling upon dry, cracked ground after a long season of drought, my grace will soak into the driest places of your heart and cause life to grow there once again. My beloved child, I am not calling you to live forever beneath the shadow of yesterday. I am calling you into the light. I am calling you to live as someone who has been forgiven, not as someone forever chained to old mistakes. What I am preparing for you is far greater than your past. And when you truly believe that I have forgiven you, you will also begin learning how to open your heart to hope once again. So today, lay down at my feet everything you have carried for far too long. Stop holding on to the things I am already willing to take away from you. Let me touch the deepest places within your heart and renew them with my unconditional love. Then you will discover that true strength is not found in hiding your wounds, but in allowing my grace to touch them. And from the very places that once hurt the most, a new peace will begin to grow gentle, holy, and full of life. My beloved child, there are memories you once believed could bring nothing except pain whenever you touch them. There are chapters of your life you wished you could erase from your story because they made you feel weak, ashamed, or shattered. But I want you to know this: in my hands, no broken piece is ever useless. No land is too dry for me to make life grow there again. What you call failure, I can transform into a place where wisdom is born. What you call a wound, I can turn into a doorway of compassion and healing for others. For I am the one who not only saves you from your past, but also transforms that very past into a testimony of my love and grace. Remember Joseph, who was betrayed by his own brothers, sold like merchandise, falsely accused, and forgotten in prison. There were surely nights when he wondered why his life had fallen into such darkness. Yet at the end of his journey, he was able to say to those who had wounded him, "Ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good." Do you understand? I do not call evil good, neither do I delight in your suffering. But I am powerful enough that even the things once meant to destroy you can still be used to create a new story filled with life. That is what grace is capable of doing. My beloved child, many times you still live like someone imprisoned inside the room of yesterday. The door has already been open for a long time, yet you remain sitting there, holding on to old mistakes, hurtful words spoken against you, and failures that continue to weigh heavily upon your soul. I do not condemn you for this. Some wounds require time to heal, but I am gently calling you to rise and walk into the light. For if you continue clinging to the things I desire to heal, there will be no room left within your heart to receive the new things I am preparing for you. I will give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning. This is not merely a beautiful, comforting phrase. It is my promise to souls who believe they have lost everything. Ashes are the remains of things that have been burned away. Yet I can take the very places that were once consumed by fire and place upon your head a new crown. You believed there was nothing left in you except brokenness. But I already see a new beginning being formed. My beloved child, forgiveness does not mean pretending that pain never existed. Forgiveness is when you place that pain into my hands and no longer allow it to control your future. There are people who wounded you deeply. There are words that pierced your heart like thorns. And perhaps even today you still do not know how to completely let them go. But begin by giving those things to me. Do not allow bitterness to quietly wither your soul. A heart that clings forever to its wounds will slowly forget what peace feels like. I do not want you to live like someone locked forever inside the prison of the past. I want you to be free. Remember Naomi, after losing her husband and her sons, she returned to her homeland with such bitterness that she no longer wished to be called Naomi, but Mara, meaning bitterness. She believed her life contained nothing except ashes and loss. Yet quietly, I continued writing her story through faithful Ruth and through the lineage that would one day lead to King David. Do you see? Even when you believe nothing good can ever grow again, I am still working behind the scenes beyond what your eyes can see. I am not limited by your brokenness. My beloved child, do not allow painful memories to overshadow the good things I am planting within you today. Some people become so focused on old wounds that they fail to notice a new spring drawing near. I do not want you to live forever as someone constantly looking behind. What I am preparing for you ahead is far greater than what has been lost. But in order to step into that newness, you must learn how to open your hands. A hand still tightly clutching ashes cannot receive the gift I am placing before it. I know there are things you believe can never be restored. But my beloved child, wherever my grace touches, hope is always born. Lazarus had been lying in the tomb for 4 days, and everyone believed the story had already ended. Yet with only one word from me, life entered the place that seemed filled only with death. I am still that same God today. I can still call life into the places of your soul that you believed had long since gone numb and lifeless. So, my beloved child, do not be afraid to surrender your past to me. Do not think that the broken pieces of your life cause me disappointment. It is often in the weakest places that my power shines most clearly. Let me touch those painful memories with hands full of grace. Let me transform the tears you once cried in darkness into streams that nourish wisdom and compassion within you. And one day, when you look back, you will no longer see only the darkness of your past. You will see that my footprints were always there, quietly leading you through every broken place toward a new life, a place where ashes bloom into beauty, where wounds give birth to light, and where grace writes a far more beautiful ending than you could ever have imagined. My beloved child, when I heal a soul, I do not merely remove the burdens of yesterday. I also open your eyes so you can recognize what is quietly influencing your heart today. For a heart newly freed from shame must still learn how to walk in the light. Otherwise, it can easily be pulled back into darkness through voices that sound gentle but are false. I do not want you to live in fear, but I do want you to live with discernment. Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Because I love you, I teach you how to distinguish what comes from me and what merely disguises itself as light. My beloved child, not everything that makes you feel comfortable is good for your soul. There are words that soothe emotions while quietly pulling you away from truth. There are roads that appear smooth and easy, yet lead only into emptiness. The enemy of your soul does not always come through obvious evil that everyone can immediately recognize. More often, it comes through subtle mixtures of truth and deception. It knows you would turn away from blatant darkness, so it clothes itself in gentleness, reason, and even the appearance of goodness. From the very beginning, in the Garden of Eden, the serpent did not begin with threats. It began with a soft question, Hath God indeed said? Do you see? Deception often begins by causing you to doubt my word. I know there are times when you hear voices that make your heart waver. One voice tells you that you do not need to take truth so seriously. Another whispers that simply following whatever feels comfortable is enough. Then another voice suggests that compromising your faith a little is harmless. But my beloved child, light and darkness cannot guide the same soul together. If you do not place my word as your final foundation, you will slowly be carried away by emotions, by crowds, and by ideas that sound reasonable but do not carry life within them. Remember King Saul. At first, I chose him and anointed him. But then, he began listening more to the voice of fear and to the opinions of people than to my voice. He kept things I had told him to let go of because he believed he had good reasons for doing so. Gradually, his heart became confused because he no longer clearly recognized what true obedience looked like. My beloved child, that is what happens when the voice of the world becomes louder than my voice within your heart. Spiritual drift rarely begins with one dramatic decision. It usually begins through very small compromises that the soul convinces itself are insignificant. I am not telling you to live suspicious of everyone or to close your heart to the world, but I do want you to learn how to test everything beneath the light of my word. Try the spirits whether they are of God. Not everyone who speaks about love truly understands real love. Not everyone who speaks about freedom leads you toward life. Some promises may make you feel good for a moment, yet leave a deeper emptiness afterward. Some relationships may bring you more laughter, yet slowly pull your soul away from the peace I once placed within you. That is why you must learn to look beyond appearances and recognize the fruit a voice produces within your soul. My beloved child, a voice that comes from me will never lead you away from truth. No matter how gentle it may sound, my voice may correct you, but it will never condemn you. It may call you to let go of old things, but it will always lead you into new life. My voice does not stir chaos or pride within your heart. It leads you toward peace, humility, love, and purity. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. You will gradually learn to recognize my voice not only with your ears, but by the fruit it leaves within your soul. There are voices that make you feel as though it is acceptable to live carelessly with what is wrong. They whisper that there is no need to change, no need to struggle against sin, no need to guard your heart in purity. At first they sound gentle and understanding, but in truth, they are a sedative for the soul. A soul that falls asleep will slowly lose the fire I once lit within it. And the enemy does not need to destroy you immediately. It only needs to make you grow cold little by little. That is why I am calling you to awaken again. Remember the disciples on the road to Emmaus after my resurrection. At first they did not recognize me, even though I was walking beside them. But when I opened the scriptures to them, their hearts burned within them. Do you see? Truth from me always carries life. It awakens the soul instead of putting it to sleep. It does not merely comfort temporary emotions. It stirs the heart awake to what is holy. My beloved child, I know you cannot discern everything by yourself unless you remain close to me. A ship separated from the lighthouse can easily lose its way in the darkness. In the same way, if you stay far from my word for too long, other voices will begin sounding more convincing within your heart. Therefore, keep your heart near me each day. Let my word become your final standard, instead of allowing emotions or public opinion to decide what is right and wrong for you. When you live close to the light, darkness becomes much easier to recognize. So, my beloved child, do not seek only what sounds pleasant. Seek what leads you toward life. Do not ask only what makes you comfortable. Ask what keeps your heart closer to me. And when you keep your eyes fixed upon truth, You will no longer be easily led astray by false voices. I will teach you discernment. I will keep your heart awake. And in the midst of a world filled with chaotic sounds, your soul will still recognize my gentle yet truthful call, the call that always leads you back to light, to peace, and to everlasting life. My beloved child, I know there are times when your heart grows so weary that all you want is to hear words that sound comforting, words that immediately make you feel lighter. Even if those words do not truly lead you toward life, you have walked through many pressures, many noises, many questions that leave your mind troubled like water stirred by the wind. And when your soul is exhausted, you become more tempted by soothing sounds than by holy truth. But I want you to understand this. Words that are easy to hear are not always words of love. Some things comfort you for a moment, yet afterward pull you farther away from the light. But my truth, even when it touches places you would rather avoid, will always lead you back to freedom. Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. I do not expose deception to frighten you. I expose it because I do not want you trapped by snares disguised in gentleness. Remember that true love does not only comfort, it also warns. A father who sees his child about to walk into danger will not remain silent merely to keep the child pleased. That father will raise his voice, even if the child does not yet understand, even if the child becomes upset at being stopped. I love you in the same way, yet with a love far more perfect than any love you have ever known. When I place within your heart a holy uneasiness about an invitation, a relationship, a choice, or even a thought, do not quickly dismiss it. That may be my hand pulling you back from the edge of a cliff your eyes cannot yet see. Remember Balaam on the road as he pursued what his heart desired. He believed he could continue forward, but the donkey he rode stopped because it saw my angel standing in the path. Balaam became angry because he did not understand that the interruption was mercy itself. What he called an inconvenience was actually protection. My beloved child, many things in your life are the same way. There are doors that do not open, plans that are interrupted, invitations that leave your spirit uneasy, even though they appear reasonable on the surface. Do not rush to call these things failures. It may be that I am using quiet resistance to protect you from something that would later wound your soul deeply. I do not leave you alone in the middle of a maze of voices. I have given you my word as an anchor in the midst of stormy seas, and my spirit as a quiet light within you. When you feel confused, do not immediately run to every human opinion. Return instead to the quiet place with me. Open my word, not to search for a sentence that agrees with your own desires, but so that your heart may be reshaped by truth. Ask me with humility, Father, does this come from you and my beloved child? I will teach you how to recognize it. Sometimes I answer through a deep peace that you could never create on your own. Sometimes I answer through a gentle yet firm resistance, like a door within your spirit that refuses to open, no matter how much you try to convince yourself. Do not underestimate those quiet signals. The Holy Spirit does not always shout loudly. Many times he simply causes your heart to grow still before what is right, or causes your soul to feel uneasy before what is wrong. And the peace of God shall keep your hearts and minds. That peace is not temporary excitement, but a pure and steady assurance rising from within. What comes from darkness, however, often leaves behind confusion, hostility, secrecy, or endless self-justification. Learn to recognize the fruit each voice produces. My voice may correct you, but it will never crush you. My voice may require change, but it will always lead you toward life. My voice may leave you silent for a moment, but after that silence comes light. My beloved child, when a voice pulls you farther away from prayer, farther away from purity, farther away from love and humility, then no matter how reasonable it sounds, you must be careful when a path forces you to hide, to silence your conscience, or to exchange peace for temporary comfort. That is not the path I have prepared for you. Prove all things. Hold fast that which is good. I am not asking you to distrust everything, but I am teaching you not to surrender your heart to every sound that passes through your life. The closer you remain to me, the easier it becomes to recognize what does not belong to me. Just as someone familiar with the fragrance of real flowers can quickly recognize an artificial scent, a soul that has tasted truth will no longer be easily deceived by darkness as before. False voices may still shake you for a moment, but they will not be able to hold you captive if you continue abiding in me. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. My voice does not need to be loud in order to carry authority. It only needs to be given the highest place within your heart. So, my beloved child, continue digging deeply into my word. Let truth become not only something you seek when you need comfort, but the place you return to every single day. As my word grows within you, other voices, no matter how loud they sound, will slowly lose their weight. You will no longer be carried away by praise, temptation, fear, or condemnation. You will know when silence is necessary to guard your heart in purity, and when it is time to speak with steadfastness. For your soul has been anchored in me, the one who does not deceive, does not abandon, and always leads you back into the light. My beloved child, this world is like a sea that never stops moving. Some days it is calm and gentle, while other days it rises violently until you feel that everything you hold dear may be swept away. Your emotions are much the same. There are moments when you are full of hope, yet a single unexpected event is enough to make your heart sink. People who once promised to stay beside you may change. Things you once believed were permanent may disappear with time. And in the middle of all these fragile things, I want you to remember one truth that never changes. I am still who I am. Jesus Christ the same yesterday, and today, and forever. My love for you does not grow greater on the days when you are strong, nor does it grow smaller on the days when you are weak. I do not love you according to moods or circumstances. I love you according to my eternal nature. I know you often become impatient when you do not yet see results. You pray and wait. You hope and then feel disappointed. And sometimes your heart grows weary because it seems that nothing is changing. But I am teaching you something greater than simply receiving what you desire. I am teaching you how to trust. Faith does not mature when everything happens immediately. Faith grows in the days when you continue walking, even though you have not yet seen the flowers bloom. Just like a seed buried deep beneath the soil, you cannot see its movement. Yet its roots are quietly growing deeper day by day. If the farmer digs up the seed simply because he has not yet seen the sprout appear, the harvest will never come. My beloved child, do not uproot your hope simply because today you cannot yet see the result. My word shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please. When I speak, heaven and earth listen. When I make a promise, no power can prevent what I have determined to do. Perhaps you do not yet understand the road I am leading you upon. Perhaps many things are unfolding differently from what you imagined. But I never leave the story of your life unfinished. A potter does not abandon the clay vessel halfway through simply because it has not yet taken beautiful form. Neither will I abandon the work I have begun within you. What I have started, I will complete. My beloved child, be careful not to allow weariness to make your heart doubt my faithfulness. Some people let the disappointments of the present cause them to forget how many times I have already carried them through before. But look back at the journey you have already walked. Were there not moments when you believed you could never endure? Yet I still kept you standing. Were there not doors that seemed permanently closed? Yet in the end, I still made a way for you. I have never failed you, and I will not begin doing so today. Remember Joshua standing before the overflowing Jordan River. I had promised to lead my people into a new land, yet the waters still rushed fiercely before them. Then I told the priests to step into the river first. Only when they dared to walk forward in faith did the waters part. Do you see? Some promises only begin unfolding when you continue trusting even before you see the miracle. I do not call you to live by what your eyes can see, but by faith in the one who has spoken. My beloved child, I do not want you to cling so tightly to the gift that you forget the giver. The most precious thing is not only seeing the promise fulfilled, but allowing your heart to grow closer to me during the waiting. For there are people who receive what they asked for, yet lose their intimacy with me along the way. But I desire you to have both, to witness my faithfulness and to grow in love and spiritual maturity at the same time. So today, my beloved child, rest in my unchanging faithfulness. Do not let delay convince you that I have forgotten you. Do not let your weakness make you believe you have been excluded from the promise. I am still working, even when your eyes cannot yet see it. And one day you will look back upon these seasons of waiting with grateful eyes, because you will realize that everything I did was in the right time and more beautiful than you could have imagined. For I am your Father, the one who never breaks his promises and never abandons what he has begun within you. My beloved child, I rejoice to see that your heart is no longer so easily swept away as before. There were seasons when you lived like a small boat upon a stormy sea, where one wave of emotion could throw you into confusion, and one careless word from another person could make you question your worth. But now I am placing your feet upon a firmer foundation, not because the world around you has become completely peaceful, but because something is forming within you that storms can no longer easily destroy, and that is trust in my word. Whosoever heareth these sayings of mine, and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man, which built his house upon a rock. The rain will still fall, the winds will still blow, but that house will not collapse, because its foundation is not built upon the sand of emotions, but upon eternal truth. My beloved child, I never intended for you to merely survive each day with whatever strength remains. I did not create you simply to endure this life until exhaustion consumes you. I am calling you into a life of purpose, a life where your soul is not only comforted, but completely renewed. There is a great difference between being temporarily soothed and being restored at the deepest level. The world may offer you things that help you forget pain for a moment, but only I can heal the deepest places within you, and I do not stop at healing. I am rebuilding you. Remember Nehemiah standing before the broken walls of Jerusalem. The city that once overflowed with glory had become nothing but ashes and ruins. Others saw destruction, but I placed within his heart a vision of restoration. Stone by stone, the walls were rebuilt. Gate by gate, the city was restored. Though opposition came and weariness tried to stop them, the rebuilding continued because I was with them. My beloved child, I am doing the same thing within you. There are places in your heart that once collapsed beneath pain, disappointment, and loss. There are dreams you believed had died. There are regions of your soul you thought were nothing but ashes. But I do not look at you as hopeless ruins. I see a masterpiece being rebuilt by my gracious hands. My beloved child, you once believed that having a little peace was enough, but I am calling you beyond that. I want you not only to hear about my promises, but to live within them. Many people know my word in their minds, yet they have never allowed it to sink deeply enough to change the way they walk through life. But you, I am leading you to a place where every decision, every thought, and every step is built upon the truth that I am with you. And when that happens, you will no longer live like someone constantly waiting to fall apart. You will begin living like someone who knows they were created for goodness and purpose. My beloved child, the journey you have walked has not been meaningless. There were nights when you cried and no one knew. There were moments when you felt so shattered that it seemed there was nothing left to hold together. Yet in those very places that appeared to contain only brokenness, I was quietly at work, like a potter shaping clay with patient hands. I have used even your painful seasons to form you. I will restore to you the years that the locust hath eaten. I do not merely heal what was lost, I can cause new life to rise from the very places of loss themselves. My beloved child, you are stepping into a different season now. No longer a season of merely surviving each day, but a season of learning how to walk in my power. That power does not always appear through loud displays or dramatic miracles before the eyes of the world. Many times it is seen in the peace you continue to carry in the middle of pressure, in the way you still choose to love even after being wounded, in the fact that you no longer surrender to the things that once caused you to collapse. That is true victory, the victory of a restored soul. Greater is He that is in you than he that is in the world. Therefore, stop looking at yourself through old eyes. Do not call yourself broken while I am rebuilding you day by day. Do not believe your journey is merely a long chain of failures. No, my beloved child, you are standing upon a different height now, not the height of pride, but of grace. A place where, when you look back, you will see how my hand carried you through every valley. So today, continue forward with a new steadiness, not by your own strength, but by my power growing within you. Let my word continue becoming the foundation for everything you build from this moment on. And little by little, you will realize that what I am creating is not merely a better version of your old self, but a new creation, stronger, deeper, filled with greater peace, and living according to the purpose I established for you from the very beginning. My beloved child, I want you to engrave this deeply within your heart. You are no longer the person you once were yesterday. The memories may still remain, and the old scars may sometimes still cause pain, but I am doing a new thing within you. If any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. That newness is not an outward covering you wear to hide your past. It is the work I am quietly accomplishing deep within your soul, where your thoughts are being renewed, where your heart is learning how to love again, and where your eyes are beginning to see yourself through grace instead of condemnation. My beloved child, I know there are many times when you still wonder whether you have truly changed. Some days you feel strong and full of hope, yet one moment of weakness suddenly makes you fear that you are still the same old person. But listen to me. Renewal is not measured by whether you never stumble again. It is revealed in the fact that you no longer desire to live in darkness as before. It is seen in the way your heart now aches when it drifts away from me and longs for light when it becomes lost. A seed does not instantly become a great tree overnight, yet life has already begun the moment it is planted. It is the same with you. Do not focus so much on your imperfections that you forget I have already begun a new work within you. Remember Saul on the road to Damascus. The man who once persecuted my people was touched by light from heaven and became Paul, the one who carried the gospel across nations. Those who knew him before must have struggled to believe that such a transformation was possible, but I no longer called him by the name of his past. I called him according to what I saw he would become. Do you understand? I do not look at you only through the lens of your past mistakes. I see the purpose I placed within you long before you recognized it yourself. When I call you by a new identity, not by your former failures. Therefore, my beloved child, stop calling yourself by the names your past once placed upon you. Do not say, I am broken. I am someone who always fails. I am never good enough. No, those are no longer the words I speak over you. I call you my beloved child. I call you redeemed, chosen, and brought out of darkness into marvelous light. Your true identity is not found in the moments when you fell, but in the hand that lifted you back up again. My beloved child, there will be people who do not understand the change taking place within you. There will be those who continue looking at you through old eyes and reminding you of who you used to be. They do not necessarily hate you. Many of them have simply never truly understood what grace means. A person who has never been healed will struggle to believe that a soul can truly be made new. But you do not need to live trying to prove yourself to everyone. A tree does not constantly explain that it is growing. It simply continues to deepen its roots. And eventually the fruit appears on its own. It is the same with you. Let your new life speak for itself, instead of exhausting yourself, arguing with others about your past. I am not telling you to carry bitterness toward those who do not understand you. But I do want you to learn how to keep distance from voices that continually pull you back toward the places from which I rescued you. There are relationships that constantly remind your soul of the old person you once were, instead of encouraging you to step into the new life I have prepared for you. And during such seasons, you must have enough wisdom to step back, not out of resentment, but because new life needs room to grow. Even Abraham had to leave the old land behind before he could enter the promise I had prepared for him. Some new things cannot flourish if you continue remaining in places that only nourish old memories. But my beloved child, I will not leave you alone on this journey. I will bring into your life people who carry light, souls who remind you of who you are in me. They will not deny your past, but neither will they use it to keep you chained. They will pray with you, strengthen you, and remind you of truth whenever your heart grows weak. Iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. The relationships I place in your life are not accidental. They are gifts of grace so that you do not walk alone. And then, in time, you yourself will become a blessing to others. The tears you once cried will help you understand and comfort those who are suffering. The valleys you once walked through will become the places where you extend your hand to lift others up. I waste none of the wounds in your life. In my hands, even the things that once shattered, you can become streams that nourish another soul. That is how light spreads, not through perfection, but through grace that has touched a heart and transformed it. My beloved child, do not be afraid to step into the new person I am creating within you. Do not return to the old garments simply because they feel familiar. Allow me to continue renewing your mind, your words, and the way you see yourself. Every day you remain close to me. The dust of old shame will continue falling away, and the true light within you will shine more clearly. And there will come a time when you no longer need to convince yourself that you have changed, because the peace, steadiness, and love growing within you will become the living proof that I am truly with you. So today, my beloved child, walk as one who has been called, not as one still chained to the past. Lift your head beneath the light of grace, and as you continue walking with me, you will discover that my word is true. The old things truly have passed away, and a new life is blooming from the very places where you once believed only ashes remained. My beloved child, when I look upon your heart now, I no longer see a soul merely struggling to survive from day to day. I see a new movement quietly forming within you, gentle yet powerful, silent yet filled with strength. Perhaps you do not yet fully understand what is happening, but I see it clearly. I see your heart beginning to soften toward my calling. I see the walls once built from fear slowly coming down, and deep within your soul, I see a new seed beginning to sprout beneath the dark soil of days once filled with pain. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. What I am beginning within you is not a passing emotion, but a sacred work being built through my own love and presence. My beloved child, there was a time when you lived like someone constantly trying to prove that you were good enough to be loved. You grew weary from forcing yourself to become the version others expected you to be. At times, you believed that if you were stronger, more capable, more perfect, then you would finally be worthy of acceptance. But I have never called you to me under such conditions. I did not wait for you to become perfect before loving you. I loved you before you even knew how to love yourself. And now, what I am doing is not forcing you to put on a new outer shell, but renewing you from the very roots, just as a gardener does not merely paint over withered branches, but tends carefully to the roots so true life may grow. I am touching the deepest places within you. Remember Ezekiel when I brought him to the valley filled with dry bones. It was an image of death and despair. There seemed to be no sign of life left at all. Yet I asked him, "Son of man, can these bones live?" And when my word was spoken, the breath of life began to enter those dry bones, and they rose up as a great army. My beloved child, perhaps there have been times when you looked at certain parts of your life and believed it was too late for them to live again. But wherever I breathe, my breath, life will return. I am not limited by what has been broken. I am the one who can create something new from the very place where others see only ashes. My beloved child, I am building your life with the materials of heaven, not with the fragile things of this world. Every promise I have spoken over you is becoming a firm foundation beneath your feet. Every tear you once cried has not been wasted. You thought they were only traces of sorrow, but I am using them to water the new ground I am preparing for you. There were seasons when your soul felt dry like a desert, but now I am planting seeds of faith, peace, and hope within that place. And one day, the very ground that once hurt the most will bloom with the most beautiful flowers. I do not only want you to rise after brokenness. My beloved child, I want you to bloom, not with flowers that quickly fade according to the praise of the world, but with the fruit of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, and faithfulness. These things cannot be produced by your own strength. They grow as you remain in me. I am the vine. Ye are the branches. He that abideth in me, the same bringeth forth much fruit. A branch does not have to strain itself to bear fruit. It only needs to remain connected to the vine. It is the same with you. I am not asking you to create transformation by yourself. I am only inviting you to remain in my love long enough for my life to flow through you. My beloved child, a new garden is being formed within your soul. Perhaps right now you can only see a few small sprouts, but I already see the season of blooming. I see a person no longer chained by old shame. I see a heart that loves more deeply because it has suffered. I see a soul that knows compassion because it has walked through dark nights. I see a life that will become a blessing to many others. And all of this does not come from your desperate striving, but from my restoring power, quietly working, day by day. So today, my beloved child, stop being afraid of the work I am doing within you. Do not turn away simply because you cannot yet see the full result. Continue remaining with me. Continue trusting even on the days when no flowers have bloomed yet. For I am not a craftsman who abandons his work halfway through. What I have begun within you, I will complete. And one day, when you look back upon the road you have traveled, you will realize that in the very seasons that seemed darkest, I was quietly planting the seeds of an entirely new life, a life filled with light, filled with peace, and filled with the life that comes from me. My beloved child, I know there are times when your heart still wavers between the old and the new. not because you do not want to move forward, but because a part of you still remembers the familiarity of the days that have passed. Even if the old once wounded you, it was still the place where you had become accustomed to living, and leaving a familiar place always requires more courage than you realize. I do not condemn you when you still hesitate at times, when you still glance backward like someone standing between an old bridge and a new road. But hear me, my beloved child, what I am leading you into is far greater than anything you must leave behind. My beloved child, there are people who once walked with you during a certain season, but they will not go with you into the place I am preparing. That does not always mean they are evil or against you. It simply means each season has its own people. When I led Abraham away from his homeland, he could not carry every old thing from the past with him. When I led the people of Israel out of Egypt, they had to learn how to walk away from familiar ground in order to enter something new. It is the same with you. There are relationships, ways of thinking, and environments that were once connected to you. But if you continue clinging to them, they will hold your feet back whenever I desire to move you forward. I know there will be people who do not understand the change within you. They may bring up old mistakes as though you have never been renewed. They may look at you through yesterday's eyes even while I'm creating a new person in you today. But my beloved child, do not exhaust your soul trying to explain yourself to everyone. A tree does not need to argue that it is growing. Its fruit will speak for itself. If I am truly working in your life, the peace, love, and steadiness within you will eventually become stronger evidence than any defense you could give. Remember Joseph, when he stepped out of prison and into what I had appointed for him. Those who once looked down on him could not stop what I was doing. I did not require him to return and prove his worth to those who had betrayed him. I simply led him forward into a new purpose. My beloved child, I am also calling you to look ahead instead of constantly looking back to see who still believes in you and who does not. True healing begins when you no longer live for human approval, but for the guidance of my truth. Walk forward, one day at a time. There is no need to run too quickly. I do not pressure you with force, but do not stop halfway because of fear. Perhaps the road ahead will still contain difficult moments. Perhaps there will still be days when you feel weak and think you are about to fall again. But this time is different. My beloved child, in the past, when you fell, you only knew how to run away or condemn yourself. But now, you know where to return. You know that my arms are still open. You know that even in the darkest night, my gentle voice still calls, "My child, come back to me." And that is where the difference begins. A just man falleth 7 times and riseth up again. What makes you mature is not that you never stumble anymore, but that you no longer remain lying in disappointment as you once did. Every time you return to me after weakness, your faith grows deeper. Every time you rise again, your soul becomes stronger. Just as muscles are formed through endurance and recovery, your faith also grows through that process. That is the true miracle, not a temporary, artificial change, but a soul being patiently rebuilt by me, day by day. My beloved child, I am also placing new desires within your heart that you did not have before. Things that once captivated you are slowly losing their hold. In their place, your heart is beginning to be moved by deeper things. You want to live with greater meaning. You want to love more sincerely. You want to bring light to those still trapped in the darkness you once knew. That is not random. It is a sign that I am planting my purpose within your soul. Remember Moses. He once thought he was merely an unknown shepherd in the wilderness. Yet I placed my word in his mouth to deliver an entire nation. Moses felt weak and incapable, but I did not choose him because he was perfect. I chose him because I could work through a heart willing to respond to my call. It is the same with you. My beloved child, I do not need you to become a hero in the eyes of the world. I only need you to open your heart so I can place my word within you. And there will come a time when the words you speak are no longer meaningless sounds. From the very wounds you once carried, I will give you compassion to touch others. From the very nights when you once wept, I will give you the ability to comfort souls who are in despair. Your words will not come merely from knowledge, but from the life I have planted within you. They will be like cool water flowing through the dry ground of other hearts. My beloved child, do not fear the new season into which I am leading you. Do not grieve too deeply over the things I am teaching you to release. I do not take away anything truly good from you without preparing something deeper ahead. Continue walking with me, even if slowly, as long as you do not turn away from the light I have shown you. And then you will realize that what I am doing within you is not only saving a soul from brokenness, but transforming that soul into a blessing for many others, a lamp once lit by grace, now beginning to shine for those still walking in the night. My beloved child, I want you to remember this more deeply than every other voice that has ever spoken over your life. You are no longer the shadow of your past. You are not the sum of your former mistakes, nor are you the sentence written by your weakest days. You are a work being shaped in my hands, and the hand of the Creator never leaves unfinished what He has begun. We are His workmanship. When I look at you, I do not only see who you are now, with your limits and uncertainties. I see the person I ordained you to become before your first cry was ever heard upon this earth. I see the purpose, beauty, and light that will one day bloom from the very places where you once believed only brokenness remained. My beloved child, there will be days when the faith within you does not feel like a great fire burning brightly. There will be days when it is only a small ember, still glowing beneath cold wind and weariness. And it is precisely on those days that I want you to continue believing, not through intense emotion, but through quiet perseverance. True faith is not built upon passing moments of feeling deeply moved. It is forged in the mornings when you still pray, even though your heart feels dry. In the nights when you still lift your eyes to me, even though you have not yet seen an answer. In the small steps you continue taking, when everything around you seems silent. The just shall live by faith, not by what the eyes can see, but by trust placed in the one who never fails. Remember the poor widow in the temple. She did not have great riches to offer like the wealthy people around her. She only had 2 small coins. But I saw what others did not see, a heart that trusted completely. Your faith is the same. My beloved child, I do not require you to always be as strong as a mountain. I only desire that you keep returning to me, even if only through a weak whisper. Father, I still believe. And that whisper is often more precious than powerful declarations that lack endurance. My beloved child, I did not create you to walk alone. There are seasons when I allow you to pass through solitude so that you may learn to cling more closely to me. But I will also bring new people into your life not by accident, but according to my loving arrangement. They will not merely say things that please your ears, but will remind you of who you are in me. They will strengthen you when your heart is weak, pray with you when you are weary, and call you back to truth when you begin to waver. Iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. The connections I give you are not meant to bind you, but to help your soul grow in the light. Do not think that you are lost or out of place in this world. My beloved child, there may have been times when you felt as though you belonged nowhere, like someone standing outside every celebration of life. But I want you to know that you have a place in my great plan. No one is created in vain. No soul is unnecessary in my eyes. You are part of the picture I am painting, and without that part, the picture would not be complete in the way I intended. I am also preparing to use your very life as a river flowing toward others. What I plant in your heart today will not stop with you. It will spread like the first rain over dry ground. Perhaps you will not notice it immediately, but the peace you learn will touch your family. The patience I teach you will soften the restless hearts around you. The gracious words you speak will become light for someone in despair. I do not need you to do something grand before the eyes of the world. I only need you to live truthfully with the transformation I am working within you. And that very life will become the strongest testimony. Remember the Samaritan woman at the well. After only one encounter with me, the woman who had once been despised ran to tell the whole city. She did not possess deep theology or high status, but she had one thing. She had been touched by true love, and that love naturally overflowed to others. It is the same with you, my beloved child. I do not need you to become someone else. I only need you to be the person who has been touched by grace. My beloved child, no one knows your soul as I do. I know the conflicts you have never spoken aloud. I know the fears you hide behind a calm appearance. I know the deepest longings that even you sometimes cannot understand. Yet nothing within you causes me to leave. No dark corner shocks me or makes me turn away in disgust. I have seen it all, and I still choose to love you. I have loved thee with an everlasting love. That love does not waver according to your behavior. I do not love you because you always do everything right. I love you in order to bring you out of darkness and transform you by grace. You once believed that you had to become good enough before you could come near to me, but I want you to understand that it is my love itself that renews you. The sun does not wait for the flower to become perfect before shining upon it. It is the light that helps the flower grow. My love is the same. I love you not because you are worthy, but because my nature is love, and that love is gradually healing, shaping, and making your soul beautiful again day by day. So today, my beloved child, stop seeing yourself through the eyes of shame and disappointment. See yourself through the eyes of the one who has called you by name and will never take back that calling. Continue walking, even if slowly, as long as your heart remains turned toward me, and then you will see what I am creating within you is not merely a better person, but a living soul filled with light, filled with peace, and filled with life, a river of grace that will continue flowing through your life to bring blessing to many others. My beloved child, I want you to stop living as though you must always fear that if someone were to see every hidden corner of your heart, they would turn away and leave you. I know you have grown accustomed to hiding. You hide the thoughts that make you feel ashamed. You hide unhealed pain beneath a calm outward appearance. There have been times when you smiled at others while inwardly feeling as though you were collapsing. There are questions, fears, and longings you do not know how to share with anyone. But with me, you no longer need to build walls around yourself. Nothing within you shocks me. No darkness in your heart changes my mind about loving you. O Lord, thou hast searched me and known me, and the wonder of it is this: even knowing everything, I still choose to remain. My beloved child, I have seen the entire story of your life, not only the beautiful parts you are willing to show others, but also the chapters filled with tears and brokenness. I see the child who once felt alone. I see the moments when you were disappointed in yourself. I see the nights you awoke carrying fears you could not even name. I see the times when you stayed silent because you no longer had the strength to explain what was happening inside you. And through all those moments, I have never left you. I will never leave thee, nor forsake thee, not only when you are strong or full of passion, but also in the days when you feel weakest and most lost. Remember Hagar in the wilderness, when she was left alone with her child, without water and without hope. She believed she had been completely abandoned and forgotten, but I called her by name in that lonely place, and she cried out, "Thou God seest me." My beloved child, I see you in the same way, not with the cold eyes of judgment, but with the compassionate eyes of a loving Father. There are moments when you believe no one could possibly understand what you carry within your soul. But I understand. Not merely with knowledge, I feel every ache within your spirit. You often think I am too great to care about the small things in your life. You imagine that I only concern myself with what seems important, while your quiet sorrows are too insignificant to notice. But my beloved child, nothing about you is small to me. A good shepherd does not merely count the sheep from a distance. He knows each one personally. I know every tear you have cried, every prayer you have only whispered in silence. Put thou my tears into thy bottle. Do you see? The things you believed had disappeared into forgetfulness are still precious in my sight. I do not only hear the words you speak aloud, I hear even the sighs your lips cannot express. There are days when you sit before me and no longer know what to pray. There are moments when your heart feels so tangled that you cannot even name your own emotions. But my spirit understands all of it. You do not need perfect words in order to come near to me. An honest heart is more precious than 1,000 beautiful prayers spoken from a distance. My beloved child, this world constantly teaches you that you must appear fine in order to be loved. So you learned how to hide the weakest parts of yourself. But I do not love the version of you that you try to display outwardly. I love the real person within you, the parts that are healed and the parts still covered in wounds. When you bring those burdens to me, I do not condemn you for having been weak for too long. I simply begin gently loosening each knot within your heart. Not in haste, not by force, but neither will I leave the work unfinished. Remember David. He was a king, a warrior, a man admired by many. Yet before me, he still wept, still lamented, still spoke honestly about his deepest fears. And I did not reject him for that. It was precisely that honesty that drew his heart closer to me. My beloved child, I want you to come before me in the same way with no mask, without trying to be stronger than you truly are. For the safest place is not where you must struggle to earn acceptance, but where you can be weak and still remain fully loved. I know you still long to be understood by people, and that is not wrong. I created you to love and to be loved, but no human being can fully understand your soul the way I do. Others may hear fragments of your story. They may see a few tears you allow to escape, but I know even the things you have never spoken aloud to anyone. I know what causes your heart pain. I know what frightens you whenever night falls, and I do not merely know as an observer standing far away. I step into that pain with you. My beloved child, if you look back upon the darkest seasons of your life, you will begin to realize something extraordinary. Those were not the moments when I abandoned you, but the moments when I held you closer than ever before. When you thought you no longer had the strength to continue, it was I who quietly held you up. When you could no longer stand on your own, I carried you through that road even though you did not realize it at the time. So today, my beloved child, stop being afraid to open your heart before me. Bring both your joy and your pain near to me. Tell me even the things you believe are too small or too tangled to put into words. For I do not grow weary of listening to you. I do not become frustrated by the times you return carrying the same wound again. I am the refuge whose doors never close, the embrace that never pulls away when you are weak. And when you truly believe that you are fully understood and still deeply loved, your soul will begin to rest in a way you have never known before. My beloved child, I do not want you to keep placing the most precious parts of your heart into places that do not know how to cherish them. There have been times when you loved with complete sincerity, when you opened your heart with all your trust, only to receive indifference, exploitation, or abandonment in return. And slowly, you began to believe that perhaps your value truly was as small as the way others treated you. But hear me clearly. The way others see you does not determine your worth. A precious jewel does not lose its value simply because it is placed in the hands of someone who cannot recognize its beauty. I am the one who created you, and I know exactly how precious the things I placed within you truly are. My beloved child, I never created you to survive on scattered fragments of affection or on the fragile approval of this world. If your soul is nourished only by the praise of people, it will always remain hungry. For the praise of today can become indifference tomorrow. The person who says they love you today may walk away in another season. But my love does not change with moods or circumstances. I have loved thee with an everlasting love. That love does not come and go like the waves of the sea. It remains steady, quiet, yet unshakable. I know there were times when you sacrificed your peace just to keep someone from leaving. There were moments when you lowered your own worth because you were afraid of being abandoned. You tried to become what others wanted, tried so hard to please them that you forgot your own soul also needed care. But my beloved child, true love does not require you to lose yourself in order to be accepted. I did not create you to chase after people who only know how to take and never build up. I want you to learn first how to stand firmly within my love, so that from there you may discern what is truly worthy of entering your life. Remember the prodigal son. He left his father's house, searching for fulfillment elsewhere. At first, everything seemed exciting and free, but in the end, his soul was left empty and starving. Only when he returned to his father's house did he realize where true love and true worth had always been. My beloved child, many times you also search for the feeling of being loved in places that can never truly satisfy your soul. But I am calling you back to the true source, the place where your soul no longer has to beg for love, because it has already been fully loved from the very beginning. When you begin to see yourself through my eyes, something inside you will start to change. You will stop viewing yourself as someone who must constantly strive to be enough. You will understand that your value does not come from whether someone chooses to stay or chooses to leave. Your worth was established the moment I created you. And then you will learn to love yourself not through pride, but through gratitude, because you are the work of my hands. When that happens, you will no longer place your heart so easily into the hands of those who do not know how to treasure it. My beloved child, I want you to walk with your head lifted high, not because you are greater than others, but because you know to whom you belong. A tree with deep roots does not need constant confirmation that it is alive. Its fruit speaks for itself. In the same way, when your heart is anchored in my love, you will no longer live in fear of rejection. You will love with freedom instead of desperation. You will know when to open your heart and when to step back in order to protect the peace I have placed within you. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. I say this not to make you close your heart to people, but so you may understand that your heart is holy ground. Not everyone should be allowed to walk deeply into that place. Some people only come to take away your peace, dim your light, and make you forget who you are. I do not want you to live in bitterness toward them, but I do want you to become wise enough not to keep placing your soul where it will continue to be wounded. I know you have grown weary from searching for peace outside of yourself. You have tried to change, tried to begin again, tried to pursue new things with the hope that this time your heart would finally feel full. There were moments when you believed you had touched happiness. Yet when night came, there was still a quiet emptiness within you that nothing could soothe, and you began to wonder whether something was wrong with you. But my beloved child, that emptiness is not proof that you are broken. It is the mark of a soul created for something greater than this world. My soul, wait thou only upon God, not upon human approval, not upon success or fleeting emotions, only upon me. I do not say these things to pull you away from human love. I created you to love and to be loved, but I want you to understand the order of your heart. When I am in the rightful first place, everything else can finally stand where it belongs. When you allow me to be your center, you will love others with freedom instead of desperation. You will no longer look to them as though they are your only source of life. And because of that, you will suffer less deeply when people cannot fulfill every longing within your soul. My beloved child, I remember the early days when you sought me with such simple sincerity. There were mornings when the first thought upon waking was of me. There were nights when you slept peacefully, simply because you knew I was with you. Back then, you did not yet have everything you desired, yet your heart was filled with peace, not because life was perfect, but because your soul was in its rightful place near me. I remember your awkward yet honest prayers. I remember the moments when you simply sat quietly before me without needing many words, and I have never forgotten that closeness. I am calling you back to that place. My beloved child, not back through shame or fear, but through longing. I do not stand far away condemning you for seeking fulfillment elsewhere. I stand at the door, waiting for you to open your heart again. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. I do not take the first place in your heart by force. True love does not compel. I wait for you to willingly give back to me the place that has always belonged to me as an act of trust and love. My beloved child, the world may not understand the hunger within your soul. Some people may say, you ask too much, expect too much from love and from life, but I know what your soul is truly seeking. You are not merely hungry for temporary things. You are longing for true life, and I am the bread of life. I do not run dry like the things of this world. My love does not withdraw when you are weak. I do not love you less on the days when you fail. My grace is not distributed according to your performance. Remember Mary sitting at my feet while Martha was distracted with many things. I said that Mary had chosen the better part. My beloved child, I am inviting you to choose that portion as well, not merely to add me to the list of important things in your life, but to allow me to become the foundation beneath everything. When I am in the rightful place within your heart, all other things will slowly begin to heal and fall into order. So today, my beloved child, stop running after fullness in places that can never truly satisfy your soul. Return to the true fountain. Let me dwell in the deepest place within your heart, not so that you may lose yourself, but so that you may finally discover the person I created you to be, a soul that is free, at peace, unconditionally loved, and no longer wandering through temporary things in search of its worth.